down with your host T. Will, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace, highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. It's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal, every frame we capture is the real deal. Talking premieres, where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine behind
Are we live? We are live, Jordan. How goes it, my man? We are back to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. How you doing today, bro? Everything good?
I'm doing good.
I notice you have your Dolphin shirt on. Is there a story behind this one, or
small one? I mean, Aquaman talks to fish. This is a Dolphins jersey. That's real. That's all I could come up with this one.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like Aquaman probably knows a dolphin or two. So
Oh wow. All right. I can dig it, man. I can dig. Hey, I you're reaching a little bit. Hey, man. I you know what I mean.
I'm reaching.
I'm with you to the end, buddy. It's all good. It's all good, man. So hey, man, Saturday, great day, bro. Let's get into it. So when we left off, we were talking about certain characters and everything that's going on. And today I really want to focus on two things. Number one, I want to focus on our favorite scenes. And I guess number two, like the controversy between the two versions, right? The juxtaposition, the controversy of what people liked in one version, what versus what they didn't like in the other. So you know, with that being said, I kind of wanted to talk about the soundtrack, but I don't want to because we don't have time, and we spent enough time on that yesterday. So
Yeah.
we'll go by that. Snyder's version was a bit more deliberate, right? It was a much slower pace. In my humble opinion, that was needed because there was so much going on. And one of my complaints for the first one was that it was choppy, it was at a staccato place, and it was all over the place. Give me your thoughts on the deliberate direction style and the difference between the second one and the first one. Just give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, like the one thing I just watched a video this morning recapping the whole DCEU, and the one thing that the one guy I saw, he's from Screen Crush. He had said how the original, the choppy version, I wouldn't even call it the original. I believe when I say the original version of Zack Snyder's Justice, or when I think of the original version of Justice League, I think of Zack Snyder's, because this was the original cut. Right. Joss Whedon just cut it himself. I would say Joss Whedon's version is the second version. So Joss Whedon, he's known for doing the Avengers, and you just kind of see that when you watch the Justice League movie. When you go through Man of Steel, when you see Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, you see that dark undertone on all those movies. But the Avengers with Joss Whedon was the first that really saturated the film. And you see this color palette that you didn't see in others, and it just reminds you of the Avengers. Also, completely removing the black suit from Superman. Like, this was a perfect way to introduce Superman in the black suit, because it's the exact same way he gets it in the comics. After he's resurrected, he immediately dons the black suit. I love that. That's awesome. Now, in the comics, he also has a mullet. That's awesome, too, but we didn't get to see that.
Oh, thank God.
But,
thank God. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, man.
You wouldn't
What
want
do
to
they
see
call
Henry
it?
Cavill.
What do they call it? Business up top, party on the back, business up top, or something like
Yeah.
that for the mullet. Yeah, okay.
You
Woo,
wouldn't want
boy.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't want to see Henry Cavill with a mullet.
I would not. I would not, sir. No, I would not. But hey, that's just me. But go ahead. Let's talk about that dark suit because some people didn't like it. Some people did. I've heard that well, he wore the dark suit because he conquered death, or it was a reminder of death. What do you think Snyder's trying to say here? Why don the black suit? Is it symbolism? Give me your thoughts on that wardrobe choice and why he did it.
Well, this is where I appreciate Zack Snyder's um, level of bringing the comics to life. He's not trying to be very comic booky. I'm gonna be saying that a lot over the next couple of weeks. Comic booky, especially
Comic
with
booky.
Superman
The
next
art-
week, Fantastic Four the following week. We got a lot of comic booky movies coming out.
The art of comic bookiness, comic booky.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So Zack Snyder isn't a comic booky like adjectives when fighting type of director when it comes to making these comic book movies. But he knows the source material, and that I appreciate a lot. I have a lot of respect for a lot of directors who go back to the source material. James Gunn is one of them. Zack Snyder is one of them. There are a lot, because at the end of the day, a lot of the decisions, the majority of the decisions that Zack Snyder made were from different iterations of the comics. Why does Superman kill? Well, everybody's like, oh, Superman doesn't kill in Man of Steel. There are a lot of comic book iterations where Superman does in fact kill.
Yeah.
So that's different. Batman, he literally replicated the
Frank Miller.
Yes, the Frank Miller Batman, the Dark Knight Returns Batman, in his Batman v Superman. So he always looks to the source material, and bringing this black suit in, he's just taking that straight from the source material. I appreciate that a lot. I mean, that's one trope that I don't think I fully understand, but I like it anyways. Is when superheroes don like a black suit, because they can. For example, Spider-Man with the Venom symbiote, and Superman with the black suit. Those are the two most common ones that everybody knows. But when it comes to that, there's not really a reason. I think of it as when you're watching your team, right? Your football team. Say you're watching the Falcons. They're wearing their home, they're away, they're home, they're away uniforms week in, week out, and then week 9 comes, and then they're wearing an alternate, and it's a really sick alternate, and you're like, I love this uniform. Every time it comes, you just love to see it all the time. And that's what I look at when I see like Superman in a black suit. I think like, man, he just wanted to change a pace. He wasn't feeling the red and blue today. He was feeling the black, and I like it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a fashion person, but I like to match. So like some days I want to wear black, some days I want to wear bright neon green. Like Superman's probably feeling the same way. He's like, man, I don't really want to wear this red and blue suit. I just died. But that black suit over there, that's calling my name. And and then the sickest scene from Superman since Man of Steel, when he took his first flight in Man of Steel, we got a very similar scene. We hear both his dads saying quotes, like throwing quotes out there, like he's Morgan, like they're all Morgan Freeman, and it's just this awesome scene. We hear the Man of Steel music coming in and rumbling through, and he just takes off, and I'm like, I got super hyped the first time I saw this. It is still one of my favorite scenes of this movie. I just love it's this rumbling, this energy, like you're at a football game, you're at a high school football game, and everybody in the stands is stomping their feet as soon as the team runs through the tunnel. It's this just hyped up energy. That's how I feel every time I see this scene. I love it so much.
That let me tell you something. That scene was it really does elevate your heart. It really does get you going. It was like the culmination of all of his experiences of both of his dads. It was like that moment where he really grows up and says, okay, I get it now. I get it now. Okay, this, and this, and this. This is what you got to do. This is what you were born for. Blah, 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 blah. Let's go. Best halftime speech ever, right? Mm-hmm. And he dons I guess the alternate jersey, as you say. Mm-hmm. And shows up, and that fight is over rather quickly. Like mm-hmm. Again, Steppenwolf was no match for the Kryptonian. He was not a match at all. Superman shows up, and that I mean, but it wasn't 5 minutes before he broke half of his horn off. Mm-hmm. And did some serious damage, and we could clearly see that. Yeah, Steppenwolf, you were just not up for it. So I thought that was really great. I dug the black suit. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go with I like Zack Snyder's version of both suits, because I gotta be honest. I you know the story of me going to see Superman yesterday. Mm-hmm. I gotta be real. Comparatively, in comparison to Zack Snyder's Superman's outfit, James Gunn's is kind of goofy. I know it's old school. Mm-hmm. I know it's retro. It is comic, but it's kind of goofy. It's kind of goofy. You know what I mean? Give me your thoughts on James Gunn's fashion choice for Superman.
Well, I do want to say this. I know he's going with the I think the Kingdom Come suit, I'm pretty sure, for Superman. In terms of the logo, that was kind of what he was aiming for. I'm not a huge fan of the logo. That's kind of my major issue is like for Superman, you need to hit the logo right on the nail.
Right.
And I just don't really care for this logo. I like the Man of Steel logo, but my favorite is the Christopher Reeves logo. In fact, maybe that's the one thing Brandon Routh's Superman and Superman Returns really nailed, is that he's got the underwear on the outside. He's got the great looking logo. He's got the colors. The maroon's a little funky. If the maroon, it's more of like a burgundy that he has. Mm-hmm. It looks like the Commander's burgundy. Like if you made that red, I'd be like, that's the best Superman suit we've ever had. So I like the detail. I think this Man of Steel suit came along the time that that during the Avengers were coming out. So a lot of people's issues with all comic book movies during the 2010s is the amount of like extra lines that they all have, right? Mm-hmm. Like they have just random stuff just thrown in that's just doesn't make any sense at all. And with Superman Man of Steel suit, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that really it doesn't need to be thrown in. Like I'm pretty sure the whole suit or a large portion of the suit has the small S's of the Superman logo throughout the whole entire suit. And it adds like a detail, like adds like adds like this three-dimensional look to it that you almost can feel, even though you're not touching it. You can understand what it feels like. So with David Cornswet's new suit, I'm not a huge fan of it. But I do appreciate the underwear coming on the outside, because James Gunn had said, I watched the video why he chose the underwear. In fact, James Gunn talked to Zack Snyder and said, why didn't you add underwear on the outside for Henry Cavill Superman? And he's like, we tried. They went through hundreds of iterations and it just never looked good. And I've seen mock-ups of what it would look like, and I agree. I don't think it works for Henry Cavill Superman, but I think because of the comic booky nature, it works for like David Cornswet's suit. It works for Brandon Routh and Christopher Reeve. It works for those guys. So yeah, the suits, I mean, I think Christopher Reeve is the number one suit. It's pretty much the standard when it comes to anything. If only Christopher Reeve had this movie come out now where he could build muscle and he could actually look muscular in this suit, because going back and watching it, that suit didn't age well. But I think that's the standard when it comes to comic book suits. And I mean, I like Henry Cavill suits. They're probably my third and fourth favorite behind Brandon Routh and Christopher Reeves. And then David Cornswet is, I mean, I hate to say it, I think he does have the worst Superman suit.
Okay. Let's talk about some more controversy. So, in the nightmare sequence with the Joker, particularly the line, if I advance, follow me. If I retreat, kill me. If I die, avenge me, which we know that goes back to Benito Mussolini. Why use that line? Give me your thoughts on what the hell Snyder's trying to do here.
Wait, repeat the line again.
If I advance, follow me. If I retreat, kill me. If I die, avenge me.
I mean, that's basically saying, like, hey, because the Joker's telling this to Batman, right? And I mean that, like, hey, I mean, we're gonna end up following you anyway, because like, what more do we have to lose? Either way, we're gonna die. So it's like, I mean, Batman has this plan which, I mean, it's kind of alluded that this would be what happens in the other Justice League movies, that like they're going to go through this time travel. And so they're trying to get somewhere where, I don't know. It's probably in the city somewhere. And so the Joker's kind of like saying like, well, we're going to die either way, so might as well just do whatever Batman says. I don't know. That's kind of my interpretation, I guess.
I don't know. That was just weird, right? Because you could have used anything, but you specifically used a Mussolini quote. We know Mussolini was, Italy was on the side of the bad guys there. It was just kind of, I don't know. I don't know why he chose to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna comment yay or nay. It did rub some folks the wrong way.
Well, it's possible he chose Mussolini because the Joker thinks that that they're on the wrong side of history, that they're going to end up dying either way.
Okay.
And that whatever they end up doing just doesn't matter. So it's very possible that's why that. I mean, it would make sense, because like, why are you going to quote like a dictator like that?
Yeah.
But it would make sense if you're trying to be like, oh yeah, we're going to quote a dictator, because it's not like we're going to do it's because we're going to be on the wrong side of history.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's interesting. Some folks had an issue with his use of slow motion and stylized visuals. Now, I don't get that because I thought he did that very well. There are two things Zack Snyder does incredibly well. One of them is violence. The other is slow motion and stylized visuals. He does that to a T. So if you have an issue with that, in my humble opinion, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you. That's like if you have an issue with his slow motion and visuals, you don't like ice cream. And I don't want to know you if you don't like ice cream. How could you not like ice cream? That's not even American.
Especially the cherry. Cherry.
Thank you. Because everybody knows you have to have cherries with ice cream. And everybody knows it takes effort to eat cherries. Okay? Thank you. Just saying. No, in all seriousness, I don't understand why this is like he did that great. There were so many stills in this movie. The Flash scene was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The fight scene where they're going into whatever region in Russia or wherever the hell Steppenwolf is, and that was done to perfection. I don't understand why people would complain like that. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Give me your thoughts on that, because you honestly, I don't mean to say this, but I'm going to say it. You have to be a moron if you don't like. I don't get that. That's like saying I don't like chocolate cake. How could you not like chocolate cake? It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You probably don't like sliced bread either. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Anyway, give me your thoughts on this, man. I thought he did it well. Give me your thoughts.
I think maybe he overused it. I love it for a lot of sequences, especially my favorite is when they slow-mo at the end and Wonder Woman cuts off Steppenwolf's head.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
But there's one scene every time I watch this movie that I'm like, why did he choose to do slow-mo here? And it's when Steppenwolf attacks the Amazonians and Wonder Woman's like, I know they're all her sisters, but like her mom has one of the mother boxes and she's running away from the building. But like usually you would do slow motion there to show that like, oh, someone broke out of the building structure.
Right.
They're like something from somewhere is going to happen. But no, it's just a slow motion shot of her running away, and it follows her for quite a bit. And that's the one scene that every time I watch, I'm like, why did he choose to do slow-mo here? But there are a lot of scenes where I'm like, yeah, I love the slow-mo. Especially when with Wonder Woman, I think it works great because with the vocal music, the yodeling, I don't really know how to describe it. It makes total sense to mix the slow-mo with that music.
Yeah.
And see, it makes total sense. And then when it speeds up, it goes into the guitar solo, and it sounds fantastic. That transition from the slow-mo yodeling to the electric guitar, she's running really fast, is awesome. So there are a lot of scenes where I thought it was great. Overall, I mean, that's probably where a lot of the runtime went, is a lot of slow-mo. The Flash, you always have to have slow-mo with the Flash. It doesn't matter what movie you're doing. They do movie, show, anything. You always have to have slow-mo involved somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you don't do slow-mo for a Flash movie, then we aren't connecting with the character, because we need to see what he's doing while he's running really fast. So, I mean, a lot of the scenes, I mean, a lot of the slow-mo, I was like, this doesn't bother me. It was really only the one scene in the beginning with the Amazonians. But I think it's a creative choice. Zack Snyder tends to do this with a lot of his movies. Again, I have not seen the movie 300, and I've heard great things about it. I know so much about the original 300 War that I just don't think I'll ever be. I think I'll be disappointed when I see it. So I just don't. It's a choice that he makes in all his movies, and maybe he could have cut back a little bit. He could have like cut back the slow-mo a little bit, but otherwise I wasn't like too thrown off by it.
I loved it. I'm here for it. I don't have an issue, especially to your point when you have the Flash, where it is critical that we know what he's thinking, we know what's going on. That's something that's intimate to germane to his story, and you have to have it. And I just loved it. But let's talk about the Flash reversing time and breaking some rules here. In that last scene where they're at what's his name's lair, at Steppenwolf's lair in Russia or wherever the hell they are, and him turning back time, I thought that was phenomenal. I thought that was great. Now, I didn't catch that the first time, because what that says to me is, well, if you just went back in time, I'm sure you undid some things there. So even before we get to the paradox or whatever Flash movie title is, you've already undone some things. You've already gone back in time. You've already gone on the Speed Force. You've already committed some no-nos, right? So then that leads me to think, okay, well, and I can't recall this, but in the Flash, were there any consequences from that? Because the whole point of that movie was him going back in time and stopping his mom's death, but there should have already been some consequences with him going into that, unless that takes place sequentially before Justice League, which it doesn't.
So technically, every movie that came out after Joss Whedon's version of Justice League connects to Joss Whedon's version of Justice League, including The Flash. So technically, the Flash doesn't connect to this movie at all.
Okay.
Technically, the only movies that connect to this movie are Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman. And that's why I said yesterday that like Wonder Woman would connect really well to this movie. But outside of that, I mean, all the other movies kind of a different tone to them. But I love this scene so much. I was wondering as I was watching this movie, I was like, this finale better be great, because that finale of that original Joss Whedon version was awful. That like Joss Whedon was like, those like bug creature things, like they feed on fear. So if we get Steppenwolf to be scared of us and scared of Superman, they'll go all attack him. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
So with this scene and the whole events that take place, I mean, the Justice League lose. They lost. Even though they stopped Steppenwolf, they didn't separate the mother boxes in time, and because the Flash got hurt, and it's too late. Then suddenly Darkseid's like portal opens up because he wants to see all this go down, and he wants to see this universe get torn apart. And there's the realization that our heroes lost. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going to happen? It doesn't click in based off the way the fight happened, that like, oh, the Flash can reverse time. But then the Flash is like, I have to do this.
Right.
They're like, right. Whatever consequences that happen because I do this doesn't really matter, because otherwise there's no world to begin with.
Correct.
And I love that this is where the layers to the Flash were beautifully laid out. even though he was probably the most underdeveloped character of all of the Justice League in this movie.
Yes.
He wasn't developed at all in the Joss Whedon in movies. So seeing him run, and he glides like an ice skater. And I like that, because most iterations of the Flash are standard running really fast, but he like glides like an ice skater. And I'm like, if you ran fast enough, you would look like an ice skater. Because I mean, the ground beneath you would be like you were flying. So
Yeah.
I like stylistically how the Flash runs in this. Now compared to the Flash movie, don't care. But the way he's just gliding and he's talking to himself like about the conversation he had with his dad, saying, and like, just like, your son was one of the good ones. And it's a very powerful scene and a great way to end this movie.
Yes.
I love it so much. Like, every single character was so important for this final scene. I said this at the end of yesterday's video. I'll say it again. They were all so important. Batman was probably the least important. I mean, honestly, if Batman wasn't there, I still think there's a chance everything else happens, but he's intelligent enough. He's guiding everyone, I think. But it's just a beautifully done scene, and then it ends with Steppenwolf's head getting cut off, which that was sick.
That was outstanding. That was because I and that's another thing. I really did hate Steppenwolf. I really did. I didn't. It's better when there's a villain that you can direct your angst to. You know what I mean? Like, I hate ambiguous villains like Darth Maul, who didn't have a line, and you're just like, well, I know I should hate you, but I really don't. You didn't say anything. Yeah. You didn't do anything. I don't have a reason to hate you. I want to hate you because you're on the dark side, but I really don't. You're just kind of this ambiguous figure that, So Steppenwolf was. I was glad. I probably shouldn't say that, but I was glad to see his head cut off, because I felt like with everything that he did, he kind of deserved it. So I didn't feel bad about that. That's interesting. So let's talk about the Nightmare, because I did some research last night, and it's actually, I was not aware of the Nightmare storyline. So it had nothing to do with Injustice. There's a Nightmare storyline where literally Darkseid kills Lois Lane. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know about that yesterday. So I did some homework, and I probably should have done that before yesterday, but whatever. Okay. By the way, Chris A1 is in the chat. A1 says, fellas, how you doing? A1 says, I like Snyder movies. They be pretty good for real. Amen, Chris. Amen. We're glad to have you, brother. We are glad to have you. And hey, man, if you want to jump in and join us, feel free to. But hey, man, welcome to the show, Chris. So the Nightmare sequence, with some folks, it kind of intimidated them a little bit because they didn't know what was going on. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. I was here for it. And I'm so captivated now with what you told me yesterday with that script actually being online. I really wish Snyder would have been given the reins to do it, because I think it would have been an interesting storyline. Give me your thoughts on that, Jordan.
Well, here's the thing. I think if this movie came to theaters, I think this scene I would cut this scene.
Really?
Why it's a great scene. Don't get me wrong. But I think way too much. Just like in Batman vs. Superman, that Nightmare scene, like, I felt like that was just too much. Like, they were already alluding to things happening way down the line. You didn't need any of these Nightmare sequences, because they would happen. At this point, they're just sections of a movie that we're not gonna get. And even if we got this version of the movie, they would just be spoiling that movie we would eventually get. So I would have cut this scene, and it's a fantastic scene.
It is fantastic.
I love it so much.
It is.
I like it alludes to like what they did to Aquaman, what Amber Heard's character said. Like, so Aquaman's dead is what I get out of this.
Right.
What I got out of this whole scene is Harley Quinn died in Bruce's arms.
Yep.
And she blamed the Joker for it. The obvious connection to the death in the family between Jared Leto's Joker
and
talking
Robin.
about Robin,
the killing.
Why would you send a boy to do a man's
job? Right.
And I love this interaction so much because this is the only time we have ever gotten Jared Leto's Joker and Ben Affleck's Batman on the same scene.
Yeah.
And it's such a fantastic scene. The way I didn't like the design of the Joker in the Suicide Squad, but the design of the Joker here, I really enjoy. Like, I mean, he's trying to do a little bit of Heath Ledger with his own little take on it, and I'm okay with it. I love the dialogue that they have in this scene, and it's one of my favorite like scenes with dialogue between two characters of any of the movies that we've looked at, because it shows that it shows how much Bruce has lost in life, but it also shows that like the Joker has lost the only thing that he's ever had in his life. And you see it in his, like, he has such a straight face when Batman talks about Harley, and because in his head he wants to just see the whole world burn because of that. So we don't know what ends up happening to Harley and why she dies in Bruce's arms. This also ended up being, I guess, Zack Snyder's way of trying to get Batman to say the F word. So I didn't really care. I don't really care if certain superheroes say curse words, say the F-bomb, unless it's necessary. Like, I will say this, and I'll bring it back in for next week's episode. During the filming of the new Superman movie, in the scene you see in the trailers where Bruce is getting interviewed by Lois, Bruce, when David Cornswet was on set, the way that the actress who plays Lois Lane delivered a line, he said "F you" to her immediately following that, and it had nothing to do with like anything at all. He didn't mean to say it. It's just the way he was so involved in
blurted out,
that he said it, and because of the way she delivered a certain line. And I'm like, there's certain instances in certain movies where I can understand dropping an F-bomb. Like James Gunn delivered us the first F-bomb in MCU history in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And it was funny, but and the way it was delivered, it was pretty smooth. So I was like, yeah, I get it. There's certain, like, this one felt forced.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't care about forcing a curse word into a movie.
It felt like, we need him to say the F word here. Okay, I'll write it in. Like, you know what? And that's such a good point, Jordan. I hate it on certain shows where there's a relationship and they just force a conflict. Like, you bought me blue flowers, I wanted red. That's just stupid, right? Like, why are you just gonna force an argument? It's like on some of these soap operas my wife watches, they force conflict all the time where there is none.
Have you seen The Office?
Yes.
Yeah, Jim and Pam. Yeah, they forced that at the end, and I'm just like, it was so unnecessary. Everybody knows that. Yeah. Right.
It's but no, to your point, and it did feel forced. It's funny you say that, because when he made that statement, I was like, I know you're mad, but it didn't rise I knew he was mad at him because what he was saying was, look, man, it's been a long day. That's enough of this. I really don't feel like dealing with you right now. Keep talking and see what happens. But even in the dialogue, they didn't build it up enough. We didn't see an interaction with them enough for him to use that. You get what I'm saying? The moment, in my opinion, wasn't heavy enough for him to do that. You get what I'm saying? So yeah.
One
Agreed.
thing also about this scene is like it follows up Lex Luthor telling Deathstroke that who Batman is, that he's Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And we immediately follow that up with this dream sequence where Deathstroke is in this. So
and allied with Batman.
Yes. So again, that's another reason, like if we would have gotten Ben Affleck's Batman, that would have probably followed this up. That would have definitely followed this up. I think that would have been the very next movie after this.
Yeah.
That scene is definitely getting cut because then it's like all the we don't know. Then it's like all the repercussions of the Batman movie with Ben Affleck don't matter because we all knew Deathstroke was going to be the villain in that movie.
Yeah.
And it really just doesn't matter.
I think it goes to how destitute a situation it is. But because, again, understand, Slade Wilson and Batman have fought for years, will always fight. They're not friends. So for them to be allies, we are in end times here. You get what I'm saying? That's what that said to me. Because immediately I saw that and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we're clearly in end times there. So that makes sense. A1 says, true, don't force it, laugh out loud. Let's get to some themes here, right? Unity and collaboration, definitely a theme of this movie. Faith and hope, definitely a theme of this movie. Overcoming despair, resoundingly a theme of this movie. In the beginning, we see that Lois is grieving and she doesn't want to go to work because she doesn't know how to be at work without him. You know what I mean? She doesn't know how to exist in that world without him. He's such a part of her world and her life. So overcoming despair is definitely a big theme of this. And of course, they have to unify and see past their differences. I believe Batman realizes that, I was wrong. I was a tremendous asshole. I was biased. I didn't give him a chance. And look at what I did. And faith and hope from the standpoint of, look, we got to resurrect this dude because he's our only choice. So I get that. Sacrifice and redemption. There are definitely religious undertones. The nature of heroes. Snyder's Justice League delves into the complexities of heroism, questioning the traditional ideas, exploring the personal cost of being a superhero. The film presents heroes with flaws and vulnerabilities, making them relatable and human. All of that is true. I really like the fact that she killed those terrorists. I didn't give a damn what they said because they just wanted to kill people anyway. So you know what? We're gonna grant an empty death to you. You're gonna fail, and we're gonna give you what you wanted, which is death anyway. I have no problem with that. I love that. My least favorite people in this world would probably be terrorists because they go out and kill people that have nothing to do with what they're doing. They go out and kill innocent people, and I love it when they fail, and I really love it when they die. Let's talk about that because, to your point, some people had an issue with her killing. I had no issue with it. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I didn't care really. I think and compared to the Joss Whedon's version, I like this scene a lot. I mean, I like the scene either way. I'd have no problem with Wonder Woman killing. I mean, she's kind of like, I don't know. I like it between the big three with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I want Wonder Woman to be the killer of the three because she's an Amazonian. Like, I want her to be ruthless. And I mean, I want her to be ruthless. Like, she needs to save people. And if it comes down to killing someone to save others, Wonder Woman's the one I'm going to pick to kill. Not Superman, not Batman. It's Wonder Woman. Maybe that's a. I mean, I've never heard anyone say that. So, because some people prefer Batman to kill, some people prefer Superman to kill. I prefer Wonder Woman to kill. I just think she makes sense. That, I mean, their whole idea was they wanted to kill all these people just for like no reason at all.
For no reason at all, right? And they wanted to kill kids, right? Heartless bastards. So I wanted them to die. I don't look it. You kill innocent. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's some would say it's a flaw. I cannot stand a movie where you hurt children. I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and you're gonna clown me, but my son had to be 5 or 6. Remember the movie Astro Boy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's
so
flashback.
He wanted to see that movie, and I had no idea what it was about, and I bought it for him. He's my son, you know what I mean? And I watched this movie, and when this kid dies, I know it's a cartoon. I cried real tears, man. I didn't know the kid was gonna die, right? And my son's looking at me like, Dad, come on, man. It's a cartoon. And all I could see was his face. You get what I'm saying? All I could see was my son's face, and I would be mortified. You get what I'm saying? I hate movies where they kill children. I don't like that. So the fact that you got all these little innocent girls and you're about to kill them, dude, rot in hell. I have no issue with her killing any one of them because I just don't like people that kill. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I've always hated it. I grew up in the Wayne Williams missing and murdered children debacle. I don't know if you know anything about that. That was in the mid to late 70s in Atlanta, where a lot of African American kids were getting picked up and killed and never heard from again. But that just stuck with me, and I hate people that hurt. I just don't like that. I don't like any movie where a child dies. I've never been a fan of it. So, and I don't mean to take
maybe it'll change your mind if you see the most recent Final Destination.
Yeah, I'm not, bro. You see, why are you messing with me, man? I'm not. No, absolutely not. No,
it'll change your mind.
No, it's not gonna take because I'm not gonna watch it. Because I need to sleep, Jordan. I need to go to sleep. You know how my
theater cheered when this one kid died. That's the only time the whole audience did anything like loud.
The only time I cheered. See, you wouldn't be able to relate this, because it's Game of Thrones, and you don't watch Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, no.
So you wouldn't be able to, because there's this one kid that tortured. He was the devil. Now him, and I think he was like 14 or 15. He wasn't like a little kid. But I gotta admit, I did cheer when I did because he was the devil. He really was the devil. But anyway, yeah, man. So any other themes that I don't know that you saw in this movie? Any other themes, archetypes? Trope, anything?
I think there's a lot of redemption for a lot of these characters. For the Flash, it's like he's lost a lot. I mean, a lot of these characters have lost a lot in life. And I mean, Cyborg has literally lost his life. Superman has literally lost his life.
Right.
Aquaman doesn't really have a family. He's kind of just in his own world. Wonder Woman is kind of in that same boat that she's separating herself from the Amazonians. Batman
and she lost the love of her life, Steve.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And Batman, I mean, I don't even need to speak on what he's lost because he's lost everything.
Right.
And I mean, these people have lost so much, and like Batman says, delivers one line which doesn't even come. It's not even brought up in the Joss Whedon version, but it's in the trailers for this one. And he's like, well, he hasn't fought us, not us united. And
Right.
like Batman is trying to bring these characters who are redeemable to be redeemable. And I appreciate that sentiment, especially with the Justice League. I mean, when it comes to the Justice League, you have Superman, who's all powerful. Wonder Woman is pretty dang close to that. The Flash can literally bend time. Aquaman is on the same level as Wonder Woman, maybe a little lower. And Cyborg can hack into anything. And then there's Batman. But he's also one of the smartest people in all of comic lore. So you have like these characters at their peak are the Justice League at its peak. It can be the best. It is the best team. This is the best team in comic book history. It is better than the Avengers. It's better than any Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the X-Men. It's better than anything in Marvel, anything else in DC. The Justice League, if every single group of superheroes got their own movie, I guarantee the Justice League would end up making the most amount of money, because they are just the perfect iteration of characters. So when you see them all flawed like they are in these movies, in this movie, their redemption is amazing.
Tangible.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100. Who better together to fight for Earth's last stand than a bunch of people who've experienced loss, who know what loss is? Who better together to redeem the Earth than a bunch of warriors who's lost everything, because they're going to fight to the death because they don't want to experience that again. They will fight and claw and do everything to the death because they don't want to experience that again. So I agree with you. I agree with you there. I really do. I agreed. Agreed, man. Let's talk about performances. Your favorite performance by an actor in this movie is who?
Well, I would say Darkseid. I mean, I think I'll give my favorite performance, and then I'll say my second favorite, because Darkseid is my favorite, because I think when 10, 15, 20 years down the road, that will be the hardest character to look at in replicating. I think at the end of the day, we're getting more Superman, more Batman, more Wonder Woman. We're getting more Flash, and Aquaman is probably the next, but I wouldn't say he had a stellar performance in this movie. But Darkseid's just performance, and it is just incredible. He oozes aura, and in a way that Thanos, on the level of Thanos, and I love it. I don't, like I said yesterday, I don't know how, if James Gunn brings Darkseid back, I don't know how they're gonna do it, because this was an amazing job that they were able to do with Darkseid. But then my next favorite, it's probably Ben Affleck's Batman. I was so shocked because I didn't like his iteration in anything else. I was like, it was annoying because I like Ben Affleck, I like Batman, and it just wasn't working. But this movie did it. This movie made me appreciate Batman, because Batman realized, because at the end of the day, Batman knows he needs to do the right thing, whether that means doing something that's the worst case scenario in order to get to that best case scenario.
Right.
He's always thinking. And in this movie, he knew the best decision was to resurrect Superman. He knew it. He knew the best decision was to gather these heroes and fight this war, because if without them, like he said, they didn't fight them united. Like I love this version of Batman, and if this was what we were gonna see in his standalone Batman movie, I would have been really hyped going into that, because when I first heard of the idea they were doing that, I was just like, I don't really care. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad to see he's going to get his own movie. And it would be nice to actually properly rank him with the other Batman. But because he doesn't have his own movie, I don't properly rank him. And then after seeing this, I was just like, this is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted out of Batman. So Ben Affleck did such a great job. I have high praise for him in this movie. It was a couple weeks ago that he was asked, do you think you'll ever be Batman again, and you'll ever be a part of the Zack Snyder's universe? He said, never say never, or something like that. So I love that he still has that like he still wants to do that. And I think at the end of the day, and I think that'll be one of the last things I talk about is the future of this movie and this universe. But if Zack Snyder called him, Ben Affleck, and said, "Hey, we're gonna do two more movies. We're gonna do 2 Justice League movies, and then that's it. Are you in?" I think Ben Affleck would say yes.
Agreed. For me, I really liked Henry Cavill's Superman, because he's got to come back. He's got to go into, like you said yesterday, the Pet Cemetery, Feral State. That's very good, by the way, Jordan. I got to give you props. That's very good. But he's got to go from that to remembering who he was, to relating with Lois, to listening to both of his fathers talk to him. I just thought I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed. I hate that we no longer have Henry Cavill as Superman, because he is one of the best to ever do it. I really do. The whole arc of Man of Steel, when his father dies, and you know how I felt about that, and him, the emotion caught in his face when his father died, and he can't go save him. To Batman versus Superman, when they frame him and he's questioning everything, and he's like, I don't know if my father's maxims have a place in this world, to him dying and coming back. And that scene where he's hearing both of his fathers, for me, that was everything coming full circle. Right? I thought that was so well done. Okay. And another thing, and you touched on this yesterday, and I think you're 100% right when you were talking about Batman. You said, and no, you weren't talking about Batman. It was actually on a sports show, but you said that any defense in the NFL can be bottom 10 with the wrong defensive coordinator. And sometimes you say stuff, Jordan, and I don't say anything. Then I go and marinate on it. You know what I mean? I flip it over. I put some salt on it. And man, you said something there, Jordan. You were dropping some bombs there, because that's absolutely right. That's absolutely what happened. That was a difference between Snyder's Batman and Whedon's Batman. It is the fact that they had the wrong defensive coordinator call the plays, right?
Yep.
It was exactly what you said, right? Exactly what you said. So yeah, I think about what you say. Well, I think about everybody. I think about what Debo says, but you dropped one on you. You've been dropping some bombs lately. You dropped a bomb on me. You know what I mean? And I've been turning that thing over for about 24 hours. But I'm in love with Cavill's performance. It's a shame that he's no longer going to be Superman. But to me, again, I loved his portrayal all throughout all three movies. It was great. I really liked Alfred's portrayal, and maybe that's me just because I'm old, and I can see a lot of what Alfred's trying to do with Bruce. You know what I mean? Where he's just, Bruce, I'm just trying to keep you from killing yourself, man. Because you do stuff and you don't think about it. I'm your conscience, Bruce, and I just love that. But those were my two performances, and I'm not taking anything away from Darkseid. I'm not. But those were my two performances that I liked and that I really enjoyed. We have to talk about the fan advocacy impact, because the fans really, their dedication, their hard work, they really made this happen, and social media power. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the millions of outcries from fans who never gave up on Snyder's version, who wanted to see it, who screamed to the top of their voice. Let's talk about that, because without them, we don't get what, in my opinion, is the second greatest DC movie series, comic book movie series ever. Let's talk about that for a second, Jordan. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I was part of this movement, but not to the extent of some people who had billboards. They bought billboards and put them out with the release of Snyder Cut. I mean, Zack Snyder was also kind of pushing the fans to be doing this. He wasn't saying don't do it. I mean, he was liking stuff saying like, oh, Joss Whedon's not going to be a part of Batgirl, the movie. And he liked that post. And yeah, I love it. This gave me a lot of hope for future movies to try and get released, whether that's in DC or Marvel or anything, any studio, any movie. Like there's some Star Wars movies that I wish, if they had this movement, would have gotten released. So I love it. Here's what I was getting to yesterday, and I said earlier. I think that this universe can be saved if one thing needs to happen. So the way Warner Brothers has been operating the past couple years with Looney Tunes, I'm going to relate this to Looney Tunes of all places, is that they'll make movies and they'll be like, oh, this isn't going to work. They'll sell them to lower budget studios. Then those studios will release them in theaters and make buku bucks. And then that movie just goes back to the HBO Max streaming platform, which Warner Brothers owns. So this could really so Zack Snyder has a deal with Netflix, right? He's been doing the Rebel Moon movies. I have not seen them. I haven't heard great things about them. It also looks like Star Wars ripoff, so I didn't really care for it. I think what Warner Brothers should do, because another thing, James Gunn said that there's Elseworlds projects. He labeled so there's DC Universe, which that new Superman movie follows in. Then there's going to be Elseworlds projects, which Matt Reeves' Batman universe with the Penguin series is going to be in. So theoretically, people could come to James Gunn and be like, hey, I have an idea for a movie. It's not going to really follow in the DC universe.
But it's in an alternate universe. It's an Elseworlds.
Yes.
Right.
Like Michael B. Jordan has been writing a Black Superman movie for like 15 years since Man of Steel came out. I have been waiting for this movie to come out. Like during COVID, it got pushed because at one point they were like, "Oh, this is probably going to release on HBO Max." I don't even know if it's even going to happen anymore. But that was labeled in the Elseworlds projects. So what I think James Gunn should do, because I think it would make Warner Brothers a lot of money, is sell the rights to this universe to Netflix. Get Zack Snyder, because Netflix can put a lot of money into movies to make anything happen. They did it for Rebel Moon. They did it with the Russo brothers with whatever movie that they released, which made them nothing. They should sell the rights to this universe to Netflix to just release Justice League 2 and 3. You don't need to do Batman. You don't need to do it. You can hint at like, oh, other things happened in between these two movies.
Right.
But you only need to do Justice League 2 and 3. That's all you need to do. And you know what? If those do well enough, then you start thinking about doing the Ben Affleck Batman movie. You do like other versions of other movies, a Cyborg movie maybe. Like this can happen.
Yeah.
You can it's clear as day that multiple Batmen can coexist, multiple Supermen can coexist, multiple iterations of characters can coexist.
Yeah.
So in these Elseworlds projects, so all you got to do is 2 movies. I'm not saying a whole universe. I'm saying 2 movies. Just finish the Justice League movies. That's all I'm asking for. I think it would save. I think because Warner Brothers doesn't need to spend all this money. They can just sell the rights to this to Netflix. Let Netflix do whatever they want with it. But and I think it's part of the pettiness of Warner Brothers is that they know it'll make money, but they're so annoyed with what Zack Snyder did with like their versions of these characters that they don't want to do it.
Who you are speaks so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. Hey, Chris has a question, and and it's a great question. And you know, we can answer part of it now, and we can get into part of it next week when we actually do the new Superman movie, because there's going to be a lot of juxtaposition of Man of Steel versus this one. But A1 wants to know, how do you feel about the new Superman actor? I'll let you answer that, as I fell asleep because I was stupid yesterday. So go ahead, Jordan. How do you feel about this new Superman actor?
I really like him. I like his potential. In fact, I like his potential. In the same, I left this movie the same way I left Spider-Man Homecoming about Tom Holland. Like, I had already had a feeling, like I already knew who my favorite Superman was. I already knew who my favorite Spider-Man was when I left both these movies. But I still feel like there's more that we have to learn. And a big issue with both of those movies and why they aren't higher on my lists is that they're not origin movies. Both of those movies, both Spider-Man Homecoming and Superman that came out, which I won't get into too much, they're not origin movies.
Right.
They're not origin stories. So I don't watch the character grow into this character. I don't see freshman year Superman.
Right.
We are in the middle of seeing junior year Superman.
There's no arc, in other words, or the arc is somewhat. It's like grading on a curve, because we don't see the. I get you.
Yes,
I get you.
So I really enjoy him. I liked him in other things. I liked him in Twisters. I liked him especially in Pearl. Pearl is one of my favorite horror movies that I've ever seen. He does a great job in that. And I see all of the potential. And this guy's a nerd too. He's a huge Star Wars fan. You know what he said at one of the premieres? He said if he was asked to star in a Star Wars franchise as a Jedi Knight or continue being Superman, what would he do? Which honestly, I don't know a single person that would answer with what he said, because if you are in his shoes, you have to say Superman.
Of course.
You have to. He said, I'd be a Jedi Knight. I was like, I love this dude.
Damn.
This dude's cool.
You were like, did we just become best friends? That's what you said. That's what.
Because I would have said Superman, but I love Star Wars, and he's a nerd, and I love that. I love when nerds, because Henry Cavill's a nerd too. Because I saw a quote that said, why go outside when I can play video games? all day. Like Henry Cavill built his own PC setup by himself.
Real,
Like,
I did not know that.
he plays video games. This dude's a nerd, and I'm like, I love this. I love
Age of the
getting
geek,
nerds
baby.
into these roles.
Age of the
'Cause-
geek, baby. Age
Oh
of the
yeah.
geek.
I Henry Cavill's a nerd. David Cornswett's a nerd. I love getting nerds into these roles because then they love it more. That's why
They do.
Tom Holland loves being Spider-Man because he's a nerd at the end of the day.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it. The Snyder Cut was praised by critics for its ambitious storytelling and improved depth compared to the theatrical release. Audience reactions were varied, but generally leaned positive, appreciating the film's expanded narrative despite some flaws. I would agree with that as well. I don't really care about that. So, hey, we're at it now. Give me your final rating of this movie and why you did. Give me your, because I want to see if it's going to achieve what I think it's going to achieve with you, but we'll see. Out of 10, give me your rating for this movie.
10.
10 out of 10. Whoa. Okay.
It's a 10 out of 10. Zack Snyder, in fact, I will go as far as to say this is my third favorite movie of all time.
Wow.
In any genre. This is my third favorite. It's my favorite DC movie ever. Over The Dark Knight.
Over The
Dark Knight.
Wow.
I have The Dark Knight too. Dark Knight actually is my fifth favorite movie ever. But and the only two movies that are ahead of Justice League are Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. And in fact, when I first saw this movie, I was like, is this better than Infinity War? Did I just watch a movie that was better than Infinity War? That's how close I have this movie to Infinity War. Okay. Because at the end of the day, it is the Justice League, and we've never gotten a Justice League movie that was good ever. So, I love this movie so much. If it wasn't 4 hours long, I'd probably watch it as much as Infinity War and Endgame. And they also released a gray version or gray cut where the whole movie's in black and white, which it's very unique. I have not watched it like that. For 4 hours, I probably would not be able to watch it, but like I love black and white films. Like I love It's a Wonderful Life. I love the what was it? I was just thinking of
Casablanca.
Casablanca is great. I actually looked at that in a film class in college.
Beginning of a beautiful French sweetheart.
Twilight Zone, like I'm okay with it, but for 4 hours, Werewolf by Night, that was the other one I was thinking of.
I never saw that. I never saw that. I did.
We'll end up reviewing it.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna sit here for 4 hours and watch it when I know it's in color. Especially when the one thing about that we actually didn't talk about is the way the movie's cut. Is that I forget what the aspect ratio is that it's cut in, but Zack Snyder wanted it in the specific aspect ratio, and I don't. It adds character. I will say that. I don't think negatively about it, but watching it in that aspect ratio in black and white, I mean, at this point, I should just be popping it into a VCR and watching it that way. I'm not going to see it that way. But yeah, I'll close off by saying I love this movie so much. In fact, I never have done this before, but I had gone back, rewatched the old version of Justice League, and that was the last time I ever watched it.
Mm-hmm.
The Joss Whedon version.
Mm-hmm.
And at that movie, I think I had it like a 4.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped it all the way to half a star out of 10.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we have a much superior version of that movie that there is no point in wasting anybody's time with watching that movie. I mean, there's no reason it should be on DVD shelves anywhere. There's no reason it should be on streaming. If you want to watch the Justice League, you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. I absolutely love this movie, and I have with my top four basically, because my top four is Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Justice League, and Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't know if I'm going to see a movie squeak into that top four anytime soon. And so I'm going to point the finger to Marvel and say, you guys better get Avengers Doomsday right. Because Avengers Doomsday can easily enter my top three. It easily could be my favorite movie of all time if it's done right.
I don't want to have any expectations. I don't because I don't want to be disappointed. So I don't even want to. I can't even let my mind go there yet until it's time, because I don't want to be disappointed. So I mean, to be continued. But I mean, how do I follow that with anything other than a 10 out of 10? I thought just number one, the character arc of Superman and Batman throughout this series was great. I thought that this movie was really done well. I thought it was the culmination of a lot of hard work, and yeah, man, I give it a 10 out of 10. So I don't have anything negative. I don't know where I've probably forgotten more movies than most people have ever seen. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where this movie lands. I know it's in my top 20, but I don't know where this movie lands in that top 20. I'll put it that way.
So with the trilogy that we just watched of movies, I had Man of Steel at a 9.5 out of 10. I had Batman vs. Superman at a 7.5 out of 10, and then this movie at a 10 out of 10. That's an average of, I don't want to do math in my head right now because it's 9:30 at night. Plus 10 divided by 3. That is an average score of a 9 out of 10 for this trilogy. And that's really hard to accomplish. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, the Back to the Future franchise, I'm pretty sure it's lower than that, because I mean the first Back to the Future movie for me is a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. But I think the second one is really good, and the third one I think is where the wheels started squeaking a little bit. It's not bad by any means, but I also don't like westerns. So so back when we got to the third movie, I was just like, "What is this? What are we watching?
What are we doing? What are we doing?"
So yeah, like for me, like I'm not gonna rate a whole trilogy. I'm going to give it the average of the scores. So, yeah, with Batman vs. Superman really being for me, a pretty big drop-off compared to the other movies. I still enjoy all three movies, and two of them are two of my favorite movies that I have ever seen.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Great movie. Enjoyed it. I'm so glad we did this, brother. I'm so glad we did this. This was fun. It's almost sad because I know when we get into the MCU, we're going to have to do the Eternals, and that week is going to suck so bad. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They say I shouldn't drink. I think I'm going to drink that week, Jordan. I think, yeah, I think I'm going to have to drink to get, because that, bro, that's like, oh, anyway, whatever. I'm going to be thankful for this time, bro. This was great. I enjoyed it. This was such a great movie. I'm glad we did this. And I'm going to remember these times when we got to do dumb shit like Thor: The Dark World and The Eternals. I'm going to hold on to these moments because I'm going to have to. Next week, we've got Superman. And I can't wait because a part of our analysis is we're going to have to juxtapose Man of Steel to this. So I'll make a deal with you. I'm going to watch Man of Steel at least once this week. And I'm gonna go back again. This time I'm not gonna follow.
Don't eat nachos.
I'm not gonna eat any nachos. I'm gonna eat before I go. I'm gonna have some soup before I go there. So yeah, I'll do that. And then look at next Saturday, we gotta get into it because again, as I was telling you off camera, I had a long conversation with a buddy of mine who ironically had just finished watching Man of Steel and watched this. And it was just an interesting response. And I'm sure everyone is going to do this. I'm sure it's not just he and I. Like, I'm sure it's weird that we just got through watching Man of Steel and now we went to, so it's fresh in our minds, but I'm sure other people are going to do it. So that's going to be a part of our analysis and our review, is a juxtaposition of the two movies and the characters. I can't wait. I think it's going to be good, man. I can't wait. I'm excited.
And then after that, we're back to Marvel. We're gonna the Fantastic Four come out.
Yeah, man. I'm a little nervous about that because I just don't know where they're gonna go with it. You know what I mean? I try not. So I've learned if I don't have expectations, I'm not disappointed. Whereas if I really get hyped about something and it's not there, like it's like, oh, why'd I spend my money? What the
I've
hell
heard great things about. I have the early reviews for Fantastic Fours. I've heard great things about it.
Okay. Okay.
And which is insane. So the reviews for Jurassic World: A Rebirth are a lot lower than my rating. I don't know. I love dinosaurs. All these people love movies, but I love dinosaurs and movies. So I guess I enjoyed it more than everybody. But I think we ended up going I think we're going to end up going 3 for 3 with these big movie franchises in July.
Well, we're going to be lucky, man. I tell you what, have you seen Formula One?
I have not. I don't know if I'm going to watch it in theaters either, just because I don't think I care that much. Like when it comes to racing, like I post about Formula One, but I actually remember them going to races to film during races with Brad Pitt, and I'm just like, I don't care about this movie at all. And the actors look really good in it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know what they're going to do that makes me think like, oh, this is one of the best movies I've seen all year.
I've heard good things about it. So I think I'm going to check it out. So it's going to be a busy week for me, but I'm going to watch. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to watch Superman. I'm definitely going to see that. I'm going to see Formula One. And I think I'm going to do Jurassic, whatever the new Jurassic is.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah, I'll do that. Did we say we were going to do that or no? Did we say we were going to do that or?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see after Fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. We said we'd see where we were.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough, buddy. Well, hey, to everyone who joined us in the chat, thank you so much. A1, appreciate you, brother. Definitely appreciate the support. Appreciate you joining us. And hey, man, let these folks know where they can find you, Jordan.
You can find me at Ultegacy, ULTEGACY. We're pretty much anywhere, any social media platform. When it comes to movies and stuff, I guess you can follow me on Letterboxd. I got all my movies rated, ranked. I got different lists ranked. I love Letterboxd because I love looking at other people's lists too. So if you want to see,
you gotta show me how to get on this Letterboxd thing, man. This is where I become the old dude because I am the old dude. So
it's a great place to organize all your movies. It's a fantastic place. But I in between all these comic book movies and going to see the theaters, for example, I saw the movie Contact for the first time. Now, Contact came out back in '97
with Jodie Foster.
Yes.
Okay.
I rated that a 9.5 out of 10. That was one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. I put it on the level of Interstellar. So I have all other movies on there. All different genres too, horror to I have Terrifier franchise, and then I have the Wild Robot, Inside Out 1 and 2. So I will watch anything that isn't a musical or a Western.
Yeah, that's every time I think of Jodie Foster, I think of Mr. Lecter. Mr. Lecter, yes. please don't do that, Mr. Lecter. That was a she was great in that movie. That was a great movie. All right, my friend. Well, hey, man, as always, I enjoyed it. You can find me at For My ATL Sports 1 or For My ATL Movies when it comes to movies. And me and this guy will be doing this for a long time. So we'll be back next week doing Superman. To everybody who joined, we appreciate you. Want to thank God for waking me up and just giving me the opportunity to work with this guy and Debo and Chris A1 and just giving me the platform to do this, because this is fun. We love doing it, and we love doing it with and for you. Hey man, gotta thank Jack Spade and Eric Parker for giving my start in this business. And hey man, last but not least, you guys have a great weekend. Everyone be safe, and we will see you next week. So thanks so much, everybody. Good night. Have a great Saturday and a great Sunday. Peace. Hey, we just had such an amazing time. What a show. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I think you enjoyed it. But either way, how are you going to do that and not hit like, share, subscribe? I mean, we were having so much fun. We can come back and do it again. Go ahead and hit like, share, subscribe. For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Say again, it's For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Or grab the link below. For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Go ahead and click like, share, and subscribe. And guess what? You can come back to the next show or the show after that, or maybe even the show after that. But if you don't like, share, and subscribe, there could be shows that come out that are great that you just miss. And you don't want to do that, do you? We had such a great time. Come on. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. You guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching our show. And we can't wait to see you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We thank God for you, and we appreciate you. Hit the like, share, subscribe. Until next time.